Welcome to the show, guys. Really appreciate y'all joining us here on this Thursday evening transmission.
How we doing tonight?
Yeah, how are we doing, guys? Really appreciate everyone in the waiting room. I'll get the chat up so that we can read that as well. Howdy, Coop. Howdy, New Groper. Howdy, T. Blett. Howdy, Mickey. What up, pimps? It's good to be here with you, pimp. It's there's some actually eventful stuff going on in the news, and we're going to talk about a few subjects here tonight, which kind of the pro-Zionist side of the right wing goes, oh, you don't address this, you don't address that, you don't address the other thing. We're going to talk about Sudan tonight, among other issues, some really nasty stuff going on there. The city of Darfur apparently has been kind of overrun by a new group that's in charge of it. And like any of these groups, they're always funded by someone else and given weapons by someone else. And they usually do like mass murder, mass death, mass execution. And I saw a news story relating to the Sudan crisis where they're literally able to see the blood and piles of bodies from space.
That's insane.
Yes, it is insane. But
is this the same region that's doing all that cobalt
I'm sure that's all in there.
It's one
But
of them.
Sudan's been one of the worst places in Africa
Yeah.
for a long time, and it's never gotten any better there. It's one of those countries like Somalia or like Yemen where it's essentially just the Stone
Yeah.
Age.
That's the thing about Africa. So Africa is kind of like split into two sections. Like the northern part is like where you've got most of the rich sources of like resources, and then south of I think it might be Niger, but long story short, it's doesn't have any natural resources. I don't think Africa is going to be one of those continents that'll ever catch up.
Well, I saw something interesting, and it was talking about coastlines. And basically,
that is too.
the coastline of
Yes.
Africa is basically so smooth that you don't really have a lot of deep water ports. So, like, it's very hard to, create possible shipping and like global export opportunities from a place like that. And up in North Africa, you have a lot of places like that.
Yes,
that
you are
aren't smooth.
100% correct on that. And to just elaborate on that, they also have the Congo River, which would be like the equivalency of our Mississippi River. And maybe we should pull this up at tonight as we're
Right. We'll
talking about
pull
this.
it up.
But how it works is the river is super smooth and would connect a lot of trade. But right as you get to the opening to the ocean, that's when it becomes like extremely turbulent because the Atlantic Ocean combines with that region.
Right.
And it basically all the ships sink. They've tried a million times to try to land, to try to get through it, bunch of navigators, and they weren't able to do it. So it really is what Rex is talking about, that coastline. It's because it's extremely smooth. It doesn't have the jaggedness in order to keep the water from just crashing. So the boats would just end up getting destroyed. And they only have a few ports along the southern tip, South Africa.
Right. All right. So yeah, you're dealing with a place, especially, the farther south you get, the more problems you have because of that giant desert and all of this. But essentially, it's the place where we see like slave markets, human
Natural
trafficking,
resources sucked out of it.
exploitation, all
Yeah.
that stuff goes on in Africa really bad. But we have this JD story, and I know you want to do the JD story. So let's go ahead and do the JD story. And then I kind of launch this into Sudan, and then we'll get into Sudan. So I hadn't heard about this, and I hadn't even really thought about it. Of course, knowing JD's wife is Indian, I wasn't sure what religion she practiced because he professes to be a Catholic or something to this effect. But just in, JD Vance says he's raising his children Christian, and he hopes his agnostic wife, Usha, comes around to the Christian faith. I mean, so the vice president is a Christian, but then his wife isn't Christian.
She's Hindu, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, it doesn't make sense.
She's Indian.
Opinion. Yeah, I mean, Vance's 8-year-old did his first communion about a year ago. His oldest 2 kids go to a Christian school. Most Sundays, Usha comes with me to church. Yeah, because you're the vice president, of course. Do I hope that eventually she is moved by the same thing I was moved by? Yes, I honestly do wish that. I mean, good. I believe in the Christian gospel, and I hope eventually my wife comes to see it the same way.
This is one of those conversations you have at home. Not in front of a national TV, and that's pressure.
I disagree.
Do you think you would put your wife on blast like that?
Yeah, she should be a Christian. He misrepresents his values.
Now, but see, that's the thing that when you do the vows, you know what you're signing up for. This is some of those things. Like I always tell people, the pillars of like being in a relationship and marriage, like religion is one of those things. If you don't agree on that, it's very hard for the marriage to last.
Well, they have different metaphysical justification for the world ultimately, or maybe they don't. Maybe JD doesn't believe in anything, which would kind of be where I would lean more to. But I mean, let's go ahead and watch the clip and see what we make of it.
And yes, my wife did not grow up Christian. I think it's fair to say that she grew up in a Hindu family, but not a particularly religious family in either direction. In fact, when I met my wife, we were both, I would consider myself.
He really looks like a politician, man.
And that's what I think she would have considered herself as well.
Mm-hmm.
Everybody has to come to their own arrangement here. The way that we've come to our arrangement is she's my best friend. We talk to each other about this stuff. So we decided to raise our kids Christian. Our 2 oldest kids who go to school, they go to a Christian school. Our 8-year-old did his first communion about a year ago. That's the way that we have come.
Listen, I'm the vice president, and that means you have to come to church with me. You have to. You must.
Insane.
My 8-year-old was also very proud of his first communion. Thank you, guys. I'll tell him that Old Miss wishes him the best. But I think everybody has to have this own conversation when you're in a marriage. I mean, it's true for friends of mine who are in Protestant and Catholic marriages, friends of mine who are in, atheist and Christian marriages.
I would argue those are all just as
The
insane.
only advice I can give is you just got to talk to the person that God has put you with, and you've got to make those decisions as a family unit. For us, it works out. Now, most Sundays, Usha will come with me to church. As I've told her, and I've said publicly, and I'll say now in front of 10,000 of my closest friends, do I hope eventually that she is somehow moved by the same thing that I was moved in by church? Yeah, I honestly.
All right, yeah, but then you go to Israel and you kiss the wall and all of this. It's all very performative religion, in my opinion. Like this is so like, oh, like we're a couple and we fight just like you. Like that's what this is. And I mean, like, think whatever you want of Usha Vance. I think JD Vance is like an alien. Like he just appeared one day and then he was the VP. Like he didn't even serve a full Senate term, if I remember correctly.
Something like that. Also, he hated Trump at a
oh yeah, he
point
really
too.
hated Trump. He was a never Trumper, and now we kind of see this. Look, here's my thing. That guy, greater than 50% chance, I would say, is president in 2028. I see Trump say, "I'm going to run again. I'm going to do it again and do it better this time." I don't think that's going to happen. I think he's too old. I think he's too tired. I think
vice president's always open.
Oh,
dude. he could run for that third term as vice president.
We'd really be smoking crack if we get. But hey, never say never. You never know what's going to happen.
He always pump fakes. Trump's known for those little pump fakes. I'm not going to do it.
Yeah,
but I'm really going to do it.
Dude, every time you start hearing him talk about not doing something, you got to be terrified because then he might.
Normally it's the
opposite.
But
then when he says I'm going to do it, he probably won't do it. So I don't know. I mean. I don't trust JD as an overall candidate. I know he's what the party wants and what the majority of like the boomer public want. And it's like, oh, he's cool. He's based, whatever. But like, we don't really know anything about the guy. The things we do know about the guy is he's kind of a social chameleon. He's kind of managed to advance his career. I mean, he was like, I believe, a journalist in the Marine Corps or serving some sort of media role. So he's learning over there, and then he kind of writes the book and gets famous and becomes a senator, and then immediately kind of gets picked by Trump. And, a lot of people like JD. I know some of the people listening to us right now really like JD. I am at a point now where I don't trust any American politician at all for anything.
It's true. I used to like JD a lot more than I do now, but I still like him more than like a Newsom getting voted in. I'm going to be honest about that one. Like if it has to be between JD and Newsom, I'm picking JD just because, I've seen what Newsom's done in California. Right. So, I mean, the track record's there right now. Obviously, playing as the vice president, you kind of have to get in line, especially with somebody so powerful as Trump.
Right.
So I don't know, what he really truly stands behind because he obviously has to toe the party line. But I did like him. True. I did like him in the Joe Rogan interview. That part I was like, oh, okay.
Yeah, I mean, but they're all just hyper personable, and like the goal has always been for like the politician to seem like your friend, right? And like they were always out of touch and older, and people always recognize this. But then we kind of got the new wave that came in. It's like, oh, it's Trump, it's our guy, and like all these people are just our guy now, and like this is the dude we support because he's cool and based and post meme, and I don't know. I'm tired of it because like these people have just fucked up the planet so bad. And we talk about Gaza, we talk about Ukraine, we're going to get into Sudan and Somalia and some of these other countries that we've really just destroyed for no reason. And we're proud of doing it, by the way. It was our stated objective in the early 2000s to collapse all these nations. And the only one we haven't been able to do it to is Iran. So I guess let's just get into this and read this news. And I got a clip from Due Dissidence. I was watching the show today, a very good show from Due Dissidence. I just want to read this and get your take on it, Tim.
Mm-hmm.
So Rapid Support Forces, the RSF, that's the name of the terrorist group. I like how they've named themselves something proper now. We're the Rapid Support Forces. We come in and kill everyone rapidly.
We're quick.
Yeah, we're quick about our job. Seized El Fasher in Darfur, killing over 2,000 civilians. The RSF forces captured Sudan's last major government-held city, so it's essentially a failed state. El Fasher, after an 18-month siege, we didn't hear about this anywhere.
No.
Including a massacre at the Saudi maternity hospital that claimed more than 460 lives. Satellite imagery from Yale University's Humanitarian Research Lab shows bloodstained streets and clusters of bodies, with human rights monitors confirming executions. Oh, how fun. A little loving execution in the Middle East / Africa. Isn't that nice? Isn't that what we always want to see?
Typical.
Right? Yeah. So executions and potential ethnic cleansing against non-Arab groups like the Fur and Zagahawa, or however you say that. The assault in Sudan civil war, ongoing since April 2023, has displaced tens of thousands and exacerbated the world's largest humanitarian crisis, with total deaths exceeding 150,000. Yeah, this is the thing, is like I question the Gaza numbers, and it'll be interesting to see what comes out. Like, whatever number they say, it's going to be like at least twice as big. So like for this, I'm sure like close to like 500,000 people have been killed or hurt. Or
yeah,
been
it's
displaced.
one of those like silent massacres, and it's just because of the fact that there's not a lot of that first world people just recording everything, and it's like one of those forgotten states. But a lot of these things come down to some guy paying off the government, or like these warlords that just want the riches and the money for themselves. And then it's a lot of intervention from these outside. This is terrible.
Right. Yeah. 14 million displaced since April 2000.
I have not heard this. That's the problem.
Yeah. And
we don't talk about
apparently
this.
I'm not sure which is which or where the blood is. I think that's a pile of body. Apparently you can see it from space. So isn't that nice? You should talk about, you can see the Great Wall of China from space. Now we talk about, you can see the mass graves from space. Isn't that wonderful?
Yeah, I see. They're saying blood stands. You can see like the little patches.
Yeah, it's pretty bad, guys. Yeah, okay. Not sure if anything's real anymore. This guy killed 500 people in a single day in Sudan while filming it and posting on his TikTok page. Not making any claims here. We're scrolling through a timeline. But yeah, I don't even want to see this. I don't want to see bad videos of people.
Very sad.
I'm just going to go to this Do Dissonance clip, and we're going to play it.
And when they're about to receive humanitarian aid, look what happens.
Anyone who's caught trying to get aid in, and they just shoot the people.
And spread awareness about their war crimes. We all have to stick together.
So you're trying to get food. We can't allow you to get food. We have to kill you before you get the food. Like there's no point to any of this at all.
I wonder what propaganda is spread to the people that are like committing this. Like, is they're following orders from somebody?
They're on drugs. They're on a lot of drugs. They're yacked up or geeked on the sauce, as we say. They're all cracked out, and they've got like some sort of religious mission to do all of this. Right. So like that's how they get people to do this. The Arabic word for marijuana, hashish, means assassin, right? So what they would do, Tim, is they would find someone who's kind of like retarded, and they'd go, ooh, take this. Ooh, it's so wonderful. And they'd bring them into like some sort of like, enclosed garden where they had like naked women and shit, and it looked like heaven or whatever to them. And they're all doped up, and they're like, if you want to come back here again, you die, basically, but you got to kill this guy, and then you can be back in the heaven with the virgins forever.
Right. Yeah, there's a lot of that. And something about Islam, especially with the jihad, they like to say you go do this mission, blow yourself up, and you go to heaven.
Well, it's a holy war.
Yeah.
It's a holy war. So like in Christianity, you're not like, you martyr yourself. You can't martyr yourself.
Yeah.
That's not, you get martyred by someone else for refusing to give up your faith. For them, it's a matter of going to war. And then if you go to war and you die in like the holy conquest or whatever, you go to heaven. So it's very interesting. And like, you got all sorts of videos for this. And actually, I don't want to play them because they're just so sad.
Wait, Myron said something. Let me read this real quick, because he always sometimes get controversial. Rapid Support Forces and scumbag Mohammed Hamdan is war criminal. There's genocide going on in Sudan, and it is unacceptable for the world.
Now, I think he's from Sudan as well. I think he's from there.
Yeah. Yeah, and at first I thought it was Sudan, but it's actually the Congo. That's actually the one where like 70 to 80% of the world's cobalt is mined. And by the way, with that being said, cobalt is like one of the main ingredients that go in like
everything.
All your batteries, lithium batteries. They have these giant, farming. People farming for this stuff, essentially,
digging
and
in the dirt.
Slaves, and there's kids. Yeah, this is good video.
And see, here's the thing, even better than that, Tim, they label all these mines are like environmentally conscious because they say they don't use heavy machinery.
That's insane.
Rogan has an excellent episode about
I did see that.
unregulated, unmonitored mines in the DRC.
Well, look, you know, the kid just
It's
digs
crawling
around
with
in the
children
mud
working
pit
like
and then finds
modern-day
the
slaves.
heavy metal
A
/
12-hour-long
toxic
day of
mineral and then
punishing
collects
work
it and gets
may earn
paid
them the
like,
equivalent of a
I don't know,
pound.
like a
Although
grain
one
of
the
rice
poorest
per like
countries on Earth,
$1,000 that he
DRC
finds
is
essentially.
rich
Slavery,
in
man.
Yeah, it
minerals.
is slavery.
But a history
But, you
of
know,
brutal
because it happens
colonial
over there and it's really
exploitation
not filmed or
looks like
talked about
being
it, it doesn't
repeated
exist. It's kind
now
of like all the
in the
genocides that we hear
20th
about, you know?
Much
There's
of it's
multiple of them.
mined
There
by
isn't just
hand,
one.
with
And this is the point I would
rudimentary
make
tools
to
in harsh,
someone talking
potentially
about
hazardous
what's going on in
conditions.
Sudan or Nigeria or the Congo,
And
who goes,
wretched
look,
whether or not
Gaza
it
isn't a
rushes
big
on for
deal. Look at what's
mineral the
happening here.
DRC
Yeah,
has
two
in
wrongs
great
don't make a
abundance
right. Two
in the
horrible
world,
things
and
happening.
it's fast becoming more precious than gold. It's a critical ingredient in lithium-ion batteries, which
The
power
place so rich that
smartphones
you can
and
literally
laptops.
take like the most valuable thing in the world out of the ground.
An
And it's
army
the
of
poorest
children
place
are
in the
at
world.
heart of the mining production. Wearing no shoes and in the
I mean,
most
that's like a
wretched
3 or a
conditions,
4-year-old.
Dorsan is ordered
Maybe
to
5.
retrieve the sack
Yeah,
he's
he's probably
forgotten.
like, nah, he
5
might
or
be
6 years
8.
old.
There's
Might
an
be 8.
urgency
Okay.
now. The rains make this dangerous work even more risky. And Dorsan's told in no uncertain terms
He's definitely not eating enough.
if he messes
No.
up again.
No shot.
Dorsan, with Richard beside him, have worked all day. They're 8 and 11.
You know how it works?
Isn't America so awesome?
Yeah, but
Go
here's the
ahead.
thing. Often how these work is it's like, you know, people don't understand the supply chain when it comes to like manufacturing, and everything comes from some type of raw ingredient. So,
Right.
you know, everybody just sees the nice little phone that ends up on your doorstep. But here's the thing, the supply chain isn't really something that we can control individually. It's the corporations of where they supply that. And they have essentially like these international people that go and broker these deals essentially. And the local, like, you know, guy who is like, could be a warlord. He could just be one of those guys. Just call him a pimp is what it basically is. You're slaving these people, but they make deals. They make a bunch of money, but then the corporation only pays these guys like a fraction of what it costs to get that raw material. And it's the middlemen that make most of that money as well as the finished product. So, I mean, there's enough distance to where the guy who's making the decision on where we're going to go source our cobalt from, that he doesn't feel emotionally attached to
Right.
that.
And like Elon doesn't care. Like he cares about his cars, right? He doesn't care about the places where they're getting the mineral for it, right? But at the end of the day, is that a way you can run a world or a society forever? I don't think so. I think eventually, you know, it won't be Africa, but it'll be a place like Russia or India or China. Like the shoe will be on the other foot for what the Americans have, you know, kind of let happen. And, you know, India and China specifically, they've got horrible manufacturing practices. They've got big problems with waste and toxic byproducts of energy and all these things. And
Yeah.
we hear Trump talk about clean coal, and it is true that American coal, like to burn it, it's a very intense filtering process that they have now. They've implemented.
But coal is
Compared to China,
but I get it.
China #1 cause of death is lung cancer.
It's true. And India also has its
Yeah.
own problems with coal, but coal is coal. I mean, at the end of the day, we need a renewable source that's actually going to replace that at the end of the day.
Right. But I mean, what else works besides nuclear power?
I was going to say nuclear power is
That's
the only
the
thing I
only
can think
thing.
of, but everyone's too scared about it, you know, because of the uranium and the Chernobyl thought process that goes behind
it's so
that.
stupid. I have to believe that it's artificial scarcity. That like just so many people make money.
Well, we stopped making, you know, nuclear reactors for like the last like 2 decades,
and they built
significantly less.
The only new one that's been built is in Georgia, and it took them like 10 years to build it, and it cost like 4 times more than what they projected. And it's a whole thing.
Now Trump has done, you know, more things in this current term to like ramp up the production, because we need way more power than the power grid can actually source. But again, this is going to take decades worth of like infrastructure to even get to nuclear power, and everybody doesn't want it in their backyard. Let's be honest. They say they build a nuclear power plant,
dude.
like,
I mean,
from here.
if power is free, you know, like if power was free, why can't we build a thorium reactor? Why can't we do these things?
Because it's called fear. I mean, at the end of the day, I mean, you see enough movies and you're like, and then there was also like Pennsylvania had that one leak that happened at a certain point. I forget what that might have been in the 90s. It was some island, I think, in Pennsylvania, and they had like a small amount of like radioactive like leaking, and it was like affecting the local town. And like
Nice.
you hear these
You know, you get
stories, and
three
it's just-
eyes, you know.
and there was a
extra
lot of
ear.
people that were dying of cancer from that. But yeah.
That's tough. You remember that train in East Palestine, Ohio that blew up, and then we don't hear about that.
Mm.
Remember hearing about that?
Yeah, I do remember something about that, but I haven't heard anything about it now. T-Blet says we don't have the money to save Africa and go spacing. True. I mean, the thing is once you've already established an ecosystem of where you are sourcing a product, it is very hard to relocate that, because the entire thing is built around that. So, natural gas. I think a hydrogen is one of those things we really need to. I'm really hoping takes off.
We'll talk about that.
Hydrogen power is like where the byproduct is water, and Toyota has come up with something like a new vehicle that does hydrogen, where you do hydrogen fuel cells and you can like recharge those quicker than electric batteries. But I don't know. Eventually we are going to where electricity gets so cheap that it is potentially free. That what do they call it? I'm blanking out on the term, but essentially it basically fuels itself. Once you get it started, it's a flywheel that essentially just keeps its perpetual motion, and then it's basically electricity is free. And the problem with the grid right now is we have it spread out among everybody, and it's basically one of those social systems where everybody breaks the cost down among each other, and they spread the cost among the power grid to everybody, you know, and it's all interconnected. Like we're supplying power from here all the way to like, you know, other states that are way up north.
Right.
So
That's true.
it's all messed up. What is this? Is this the Ohio?
Yeah, this is the thing that happened in East Palestine, Ohio. So like apparently vinyl chloride.
Now, meanwhile,
was
folks
in
living
the,
along
thing.
the Ohio, they can return home. The train derailment, of course, forced thousands.
Isn't that
out.
nice? And then we just
Several
forget
of
about
those
this. This
freight
don't
cars
matter. It
carrying
is what
hazardous
happened.
chemicals.
I don't
Officials
know.
are forced to release toxins into the air to avoid a potential explosion. Let's bring in Dr. John.
Do you live there?
Barnes
You're
now. He's
cooked.
National
Like
volunteer,
it's
medical
over, buddy.
spokesperson for the
Yeah.
American Lung Association. Doctor, thank you for being with us. Lana and I, each time we kind of give folks updates on this, continue to be concerned about the air and water supply is safe. But what are the real dangers here and the lingering effects should that not be true?
Well, I'm pleased to be here. I just want to say that the toxic material that was of most concern in the tank cars was vinyl chloride. And vinyl chloride is a carcinogen, a well-known carcinogen. I actually did part of my training at Mount Sinai Medical Center, where a team of occupational medicine physicians were the first ones to document that vinyl chloride can cause liver cancer.
Oh,
Now, that exposure is occupational. There are OSHA regulations about occupational exposure, but we don't have any.
all right. Nice black smoke. We kind of get the picture.
It's
here.
it's a little mini experiment, you know. At the end of the day, you don't know what's going to happen. You know, there's a lot of stuff like that doesn't get talked about. So this is one of those cases. I guarantee you're going to see lawsuits like 10 years from now or something like that from somebody who's dying. Flint, Michigan. That thing that's not even being talked about anymore. And they
What
said
happened in Flint?
The lead poisoning. Remember that whole situation?
I do.
And they found, you know, high levels of lead that was basically poisoning all of the county and the surrounding ones. And you just ended up with a bunch of kids with like defects, and you know, the water, you turn it on and it's like
gray and green a little bit.
It's gray and green, and it's got
Right.
like particles coming out of it. And somebody visited it recently. I was watching another video, and you know, they claim that all of it has been repaired. First of all, they didn't pay out anybody for, you know, basically
Right.
giving all these people cancer. They said, oh, we'll just fix the situation, but the damage is already done. But the situation isn't fixed. You can still see that other people's water is still
Certainly.
having the same. and they weren't replacing the pipes in people's houses. They're replacing some of the main lines. It doesn't solve the
this
issue.
shit, and this is why we talk about the local stuff, local to the country. We mean like domestic. This shit cannot be that expensive to fix. It can't be. If we can give $300 billion to Ukraine because it's the most consequential conflict ever, and they're fighting for their freedom, this, that, and the other thing, whatever. Couldn't we have given 150 billion to Ukraine? Couldn't we have given 150 billion to ourselves? But no. You see, it costs like 5 to 50 billion to end homelessness in the United States, depending on what metric you look at. Oh, no, we can't do that. Oh, no. Oh, the SNAP benefits, it's too expensive.
Even though they could subsidize it in the meantime while trying to figure it out. This is exactly what I thought about when I saw like the people's water was still brown almost like 5 to 10 years later. I'm like, you guys haven't fixed the issue.
You take a shower with bottled water.
They're taking shower. No, some people are still having to take showers with the existing water, but no one's drinking it. But even if you're showering in lead, that's not good for you.
No.
And so
that's how you become a superhero.
Start having fucking super strength all of a sudden.
You live next to the power plant that's broken, the nuclear power plant, and then you live with the Flint water.
Dude, that's why when I was younger, we were gonna my family was gonna move into a new house, but then they saw that some either like power line or some like radioactive thing, and they were like, oh yeah, if you live near here for a certain amount of time, you could have something happen to your kids over time.
You don't want to live near power lines.
And it's like there's like a whole neighborhood that's like right next door, and the kids are playing out back.
Who cares? It is what it is. Yeah, I mean, just like you think about when you're driving down the road and you see like a ton of trash just like floating down the highway, right?
Yeah.
And you're like, oh, like this is microplastics. This is how it gets in everything. It makes sense. But think about all the toxic chemicals and the runoff and the things that we just haven't had the money to fix. Of course, we could theoretically do nuclear power, but it would be expensive. And it being expensive, that means that someone would grift off of it. Someone would get in charge and steal money.
Right.
And then, oh, the project is a little low on funds. I mean, what happened in Chernobyl happened because they had graphite on the end of the control rod.
Yep.
And graphite is not required. It's just cheaper than the other things they could have used. So, of course, they used that in the Soviet Union, and the thing melts down. And we've all seen documentation on that. But the same thing, we kind of do the same thing to ourselves domestically with all these things. Is like it costs more long-term in human life and human suffering and medical system to have this broken system that makes people sick. But
I have a question for you.
Okay.
Do you think we go back to the 30s and go isolationism? Like, what do you think is?
I mean, that's
like what
talking long term for the country.
But how do you feel about that? Because I see that being spoken about a lot, where we're just like America first, isolationism. Like, do you think that's the right play?
Here's what I believe. I believe we need a global trade relationship, but we need one based off of peace and equality and the exchange of goods instead of like power and color revolutions and forcing nations to buy our stuff by blowing up a pipeline like Nord Stream. I like the BRICS model. I like it where they're going, hey, we're not necessarily going to create this standard currency across all of us. We're just going to trade in our own denominations of currency, backed by our own natural resources. And we could do that. We could 100% do that. We could analyze all the natural gas holdings in the United States and go, hey, like this is what this currency is worth.
Yeah, but doing that gives up power. And that's what we don't want to do.
Either have some power or none of it. And we're rapidly approaching no power.
Oh, dude, that literally reminds me of something.
Okay.
I was doing the research and I was like, and I'll do a segment on this.
Right.
The pattern of the great empires and what leads to the fall, right? And each empire,
inflation.
Yeah, that's the last step. But like each empire thought they were invincible, and then we're like, oh, that's the last guy. They did it that way. But you've got like 4 empires that we can like clearly distinguish. You've got the Roman Empire, then you had the
Ottoman Empire.
Well, Ottomans before that, but we'll say it was really Spanish is the next one that comes out of that we'll say like was the significant one. Then you had the British, and now you have America. Yeah, there was empires in between, but I'm talking about like true world reserve currency type of like similar vibe. Spain had that where they had all
the gold.
They had all the gold, and they had a shit ton of silver, but they had too many resources. But basically the pattern is you get like a stable power. Their first mistake is they become the reserve currency of the world. Then they produce too much of that. Then they have too much military expansion in which it costs a lot of money to maintain that military.
Right.
And then it ends up being the last step is which topples it is when people start distrusting around the globe the confidence in that country.
Right.
And we are on the fourth stage of this, guys, where we came off the gold standard. The Spanish did the same thing. They came off of the gold standards. British came off the gold standard. Then they tried to go back onto the gold standard just before World War II because they spent way too much money in World War I. And then they were like, oh, this doesn't work. We made a mess of this already. So we can't even go back to the gold standard. The only thing we can do is potentially replace. And that's when the United States comes in after World War II. And they're like, oh, we'll do the same thing. And it's like, that's a scary thing to just see the pattern play out exactly. And so they say it comes down to either there's three options. Either there's a way it peacefully happens where you transition. Second option is like total collapse, like the Roman Empire, where it was just complete like chaos incarnate. And then like the third option is you have like a peaceful transfer of, did I already say that one?
Maybe I don't think so.
But basically peaceful transfer to where like somebody else comes in and can like offset it. And that's what happened to the British Empire.
That's the thing. That's the thing that'll kill us is that someone always has to be on top. And whenever the US falls, truly, whenever our like the money goes to zero and it just isn't working anymore, no one will buy our debt, and we have that great economic crash, which will come. There will be another emerging world power. It'll probably be China, and that'll probably be the trigger of our war with China, you know, or something like that. It might be China. I don't think it'll be Russia, but really the Chinese are the ones we have to worry about from like a global hegemony perspective. And they will come in and they will say, look what the United States has done over the past 3-4 decades. Look at the destruction that they've wrought. Look at the financial instability. Look how they weaponized the financial system like SWIFT and holding frozen assets. We will come in and we have been doing this BRICS thing and we're being nice to each other. So just let us do the BRICS thing. BRICS will become dominant. This is how free trade will work across the world. And if America wants to be a part of that, America can be a part of that. If America doesn't want to be a part of that, well, America can go kick rocks. And I think that's where we're rapidly approaching. I think we'll be there in under 10 years. What are your thoughts on that?
If India wasn't in there, it would have probably taken a lot longer, but India is like the third.
But they love the United States.
Yeah, and they love the United States. The thing about it is no one will trust China just by itself. By the way, their credit worthiness isn't as high as like some other countries. It's like just on the fringe of like B+ or like A- or something like that.
Yeah, I mean,
so they're not like by any means doing the right thing. And then their economy's collapsing from the inside that they're not talking about. Real estate is falling there. They've got empty entire cities where you've got tons of infrastructure that went out. You had the biggest real estate developer went bankrupt. And you're talking about like almost probably like $1 trillion worth of real estate that they had, and they had just overbuilt and people weren't buying. They're having deflation right now.
It's a very scary time because a lot of these great powers, they have very urgent interests that they need to fix and address. Like China, they've got to get access to the seas around them, and we've kind of blocked them off with all our allies in the area. They've got to do something about Taiwan. They've got to do something about the chips, because if they had the chips like a poker game, like they'd win the game. Dude. They just need to get the chips.
They've got the raw minerals and they have the chips, man. They can do whatever they want.
They have big issues with farmland and agriculture. A lot of China is very hard to do things in. It's a very big place, as I'm sure you all know. They've got issues. We've got issues. No one's buying our debt. We're seen as fiscally and militarily unreliable at best, like hostile and dangerous at worst.
Well, our Moody, all of the credit ratings from Fitch, Moody, and S&P 500 have all downgraded us from being the highest level to now we are just gone. And those are the first time that these have happened within the last, since they started.
And then the technology comes in. It's everything's easier now. We just let the computer decide. And I think that's where we'll be in 2030.
I think the digital currency comes first before we give up power, because the United States isn't just going to go belly up. They're going to be like, we're going to come out with the new digital dollar.
And it's back
or new crypto. New crypto, new digital dollar. We'll put all the debt into that system so that it's dispersed among all the new countries and companies that buy this new coin, because everybody's going to go and buy it. And that's how they try to get rid of the debt. I think that's what happened.
I think that's very likely. I saw someone in the chat comment on this. I'm going to go to this, and then
Let's say
we might as well say in the next 5, 10, 15 minutes, guys, start calling in. If you already have the number, we're going to give the number out in a little bit. We're going to start taking calls very, very soon on in the show.
Yep.
But I've seen some people talk about this, and I think it's relevant. So do you know who Josh Hammer is?
No.
You're familiar with this guy? Okay.
Educate me.
So Josh Hammer, he's kind of this, like Zionist. I think he's Jewish, just very like blue chip Republican, what the Republican Party stands for, as in like undying support for Israel. And he came out, and I forget the exact thing that he said. I don't have it pulled up right now, but he made some insinuation to Charlie Kirk that, he shouldn't be doing what he's doing, / like you're in danger type of thing, but not from like a friendly perspective, from like, oh, you better not type of guy. So of course we all know what happens to Charlie Kirk. And now Tucker comes out, and of course he interviews Nick Fuentes, and they talk about Israeli aid and all this. And then we got Mr. Josh Hammer. Jewish commentator Josh Hammer euphemistically calls for Tucker Carlson to be killed after Tucker interviewed Fuentes. The fox, this is a metaphor, Tucker is now comfortably ensconced in the hen house, and unless the fox is neutralized, killed, I don't think what else you can take from that, really. The victim could be the entire extant GOP coalition itself. You got to use words like extant to make sure people know that you're smart.
Right. And then you say neutralized instead of clearly saying killed, because neutralized can be one of those ambiguous words where you say, oh, I didn't mean kill. I meant, it's got to be softened and, taken care of, but not death. Of course, I don't mean death.
Now, this guy's a real piece of work. I mean, what do you think about that whole situation, Tim?
It just, my mind goes to like deep state. What the fuck?
Yo, okay. All right. Hold on, guys.
Dude, I lost my train of thought.
Hold on.
This is the first thing that pops up on his feed.
I was about to look up some some Josh Hammer stuff.
Oh my god.
Bro.
What is Oprah? Your dad,
my dad, and
Candace
Owens as the daughter. Okay, let's pause and let's just think about this for a moment, guys. This is all real. That's what you don't understand. If you see a photo of something, it's real.
Candace is your sister, man.
Yeah, I guess so. Yes, that's wife number 3 is Oprah. Just quite interesting.
Stepmom got a lot of money, buddy.
Dude, maybe she can get us out of debt.
Yeah, dude. She got $1 billion. She could take care of it. Wow. Yeah, no, that lost my train of thought completely.
No,
this was the first thing that popped up on his feed as he was going and searching for this.
All right, that's
but to go back to the Josh Hammer situation, it just makes my mind go to like deep state type shit. It's like, is he, saying that? Is he connected?
Well, he was a part of the group chat that Candace leaked.
Oh, he was?
Yeah, he was.
I wouldn't. Here's the thing. These people don't like dissonance. They don't like people who are preaching against their agenda. So, they're afraid of people who can speak on a national stage. So what is this?
All right. So Josh Hammer called for me and Tucker Carlson to be neutralized after our interview. Will FBI investigate that comment? This is Fuentes. Hammer is a Jewish extremist who believes that white people are born with anti-Semitism in their DNA. Anti-white filth needs to be held accountable. Jew hatred is inherent in the European DNA. Yeah, this is the white people bad type of thing. Europe, it will never change. Jew hatred is inherent in its collective DNA. Europe is like very, very soy and liberal now. Like anyone can go to Europe. And I'm pretty sure if you have a swastika or anything in Germany, they put you in jail.
Bro, my whole issue with all of this shit,
I am Jewish proudly. I advocate every single day of my life.
But like
for the
everybody go take a DNA test, right?
Right.
You'll notice that everybody's a mutt. Like you've got a little bit of
True,
everything. To a certain extent, you got like people that are like 70% this, but ultimately, like deep down, all the humans in the world or went from one spot and then we went outwards, and we're talking about these race like we're just creating these buckets, and it's
right. I mean, here's the thing. Like this guy doesn't look particularly like Arabic to me, or like Sephardic Jew. Like this is a guy from like Eastern Europe.
Yes,
basically.
I've seen Kennedy's guys as I was walking down the streets of Austin today. Right. It's like, dude, get off your high horse, man.
Yeah, exactly. But I mean, like this guy, and I'll try to find the Tucker Carlson messages, or not Tucker messages, the Charlie Kirk messages.
Yeah, it just bothers me, and I'm not like, My problem is I'm not even like skewed one way or the other. I'm not a Zionist, by the way, but I'm also not anti-Israel. Like I hate the fact that you can't even say good things about Israel because they're fucking killing people.
Right.
You know, like before all this stuff, I could have been like,
Well-
Israel's a great place to live or a great place to visit. And if I were to go out there and say that in the streets, people would be like, how fucking dare you? How
For
dare
real.
you?
Yeah.
And it's like, dude, you know, that's not representation of like every single person. The guy who's in charge is going and just making a mess. So, you know,
right. I see someone going, where's the viewers at? The Sunday show is
the
a bigger
Sunday
show.
show is a bigger view.
And we have guests. I mean, it's hard. I mean, people are like working and stuff and going home and like we're live. And I totally understand if you don't want to watch us, you know, on like a weeknight where you're tired. And like
and also a lot of other people go live at this time.
And look, we're really here for the people that enjoy the show.
For real.
So we got like
whether we have 10 in here or whether we have
seriously
10,000.
Like this is about y'all for enjoying the show. We really it's quite an honor for people to like to listen to you talk. So like we really appreciate y'all like being here for us. It's not about the views, the views, like it's not like that. We're trying to do a show here where we have fun, where we catch up on the news, where we talk to you guys, where we bring up new or old topics that need to be like deep dived in or done a rehash of. That's what the gray area is all about. And if we have any new people in here, I highly suggest you follow Tim on X at TruismTim. Do that. It's also linked in my profile. Also linked in my profile is Talks. That's our Twitter or X handle for the show. We post a lot of clips on there.
Hey, I'm almost at 500. I need 25 more people to go follow me. In that circumstance, I'm going to be coming out with something special. There's 300 and some change people in here. If just 25 people could follow me, that would be great. X algorithm is not giving me a whole lot of love.
No, it's gotten worse.
You know, I don't know what's going on. I want to give good value to people.
You need to put a tiny hat on. This is the problem. You need to put a tiny hat on. You got to go to the wall.
I'll go to the wall.
It was pretty good of me, and I did it for the show when I went on Alex Stein, you know, to touch the wall. And, you know, even though it's a virtual wall and it's not the real wall, you know, like we're working on it. Okay.
I need my 7,000
though. We're gonna get up there. We're gonna get up there. We're talking to BB right now.
Yeah, but we would appreciate any support that you guys give. And also Sunday is the Sunday special because that's a lot more prepped.
Right.
That's
when you're going to get prepared segment, which is always very informative on a great topic. We'll be talking Civil War and Reconstruction.
Ideally, yes.
Yeah, ideally, plans may change. We'll do a guest. I've got a couple guys slated. We'll see who ends up coming on. It's always a great guest. We're always going to do a longer call-in portion on that show. We look forward to seeing and hearing from you guys on the call-in portion. And it's a great time, you know, at the end of the week / the beginning of the next week, you can kind of do a weekly wrap on all the stories that have developed, and you can kind of address what you want to address. And it's fun because, you know, usually people take a break from fighting over the weekend. Usually like, you know, we'll chill out. And then all the breaking stuff comes out Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday.
Yeah.
And then you have stuff, right?
But then sometimes it's overstimulating because there's too much going on during the week. And like Sunday is like a nice chill day. So like if you tune in on Sunday, we enjoy Sunday streams too. That's like our longer.
They're very fun, guys. Yeah. Very fun to do and very fun to watch. We hear.
Oh, and Chuck, I got to shout you out, man. You have been like one of the mega supporters too, man. Like I see you on all the platforms, just commenting, giving us good feedback.
Really appreciate it.
This is the stuff that keeps us going. I tell you, like when I see the positivity out there and somebody's getting value, even if it's just 10 people learn something new from our streams, that makes the difference to me. So I'm going to keep chugging along.
Right. So more from Josh Hammer, more of his, you know, fun time on the internet. Josh Hammer called for the public execution of Tucker. Josh Hammer called for public execution the day of and day before Charlie Kirk. He's part of the Zionist pressure group, blah, blah, blah. So he retweets this this is in 2013. And then Josh Hammer, public execution the day Kirk is shot. So
what time is that? 3:57. That was
after he got shot. Interesting. And then he's also in the group chat. He's in this group chat right here. And the Candace just like, this is the one where Kirk said he was going to cut ties with the Israeli lobby. People. And then Candace Owens like mentioned him as being one of the.
I don't see him being like a shot caller or anything, but he might.
No, he might know about it.
He might know about it.
That's the problem. And I mean, like, you're talking about people and metaphors, just saying they need to be neutralized and all this. I just don't like it. I just don't like it, to be honest with you. Now, we want to begin the call-in portion of the show.
Yeah.
You down for that?
Let's go ahead and send them text, and then we'll also open it up for other people. But we're just trying to.
We have it limited to 3 holding right now. So if we give out the number, it'll be in a little bit because we got to make sure no one's waiting on the line too long. And this is another thing.
Let me get it.
We've got to be expedient with our time taking callers because we want to get to multiple people. If we have a great topic, a great discussion, sure, cool, stay on like 15 or so minutes. But really, like, what's on your mind today? What are you focused on? What story caught your eye? What point do you have to make to the audience and to us? And what do you want us to research more about it? That's really what we're looking for here on the gray area, and like, we really enjoy the call-ins. And if it goes great and it's phenomenal, sure, stay on as long as you need to. Our main mission in this is just to be expedient and to get to everyone. If we're going to do a major topic where a listener has been thinking about something and really wants to go over it, really let's save that for Sunday, where we can get the most value out of it, where you have the most viewers watching you, and where you have the most people
you are now in the
what
host
you're saying.
room and can manage your callers from the call-in studio web interface.
There's a ton of big topics we want to get into with the listeners, but as of today, what's on your mind? What's the political or social issue that's really got you thinking? You've really got something to say about it. Please call into the show. And are you texting them now?
Yeah, and then
we can give the number out.
Give the number out. We're gonna cut real quick. Don't go anywhere.
All right, we're back now, and we are joined by the one, the only New Groiper. Also, another great follow on X. If you're watching us there, you should follow New Groiper on X. That's NU Groiper, and you all know how to spell Groiper, of course, probably if you're watching the show. So follow him on X. New Groiper, what's on your mind today?
Oh, also in the chat, make sure you guys comment. Make sure you guys can hear him because we had a little audio issue last time.
This is very key.
Go ahead.
Yep. So I want to talk about the whole. I guess it kind of, you could package it all into the Israel debacle for the past couple of days.
Okay. What about it?
Yeah. So the Josh Hammer thing. Well, first of all, going to the interview, I find it amazing that people who claim to have American values have a problem with two people having a conversation,
right?
Because of optics, and it's really funny because the group who is the most mad is the group that both Tucker and Nick have been rallying against.
Mm-hmm.
Chief offender Josh Hammer.
Right.
I don't know if you guys know, but Josh Hammer has made it known publicly that his allegiance lies to Israel.
Mm-hmm.
And on top of that, is married to an Israeli woman and is Jewish himself.
Right.
Yep.
So it's kind of, as Charlie Kirk said when he told Netanyahu that he needed to send the Hezbollah mothership. Well, they sent it.
Did he actually say that?
Well, yes, it's in the letter.
How
letter,
fun?
Yeah.
How fun? Okay, go ahead.
Yeah, he said you're losing basically the synopsis of that letter was that you're losing the crowd. You need to send the Hezbollah mothership, and I'm quoting.
Can you enlighten people for who don't know what that is?
Hasbara is Israeli propaganda.
Go ahead.
But go ahead, New Groper.
Yeah, no, I was about to say, yeah. It's just pro-Israel propaganda. And I find it really funny because there's a couple of reactions. Like, oh, by the way, shout out to Mark Levin for making Nick Redfield on race and stuff.
Yeah, it's pretty funny.
Dude's so hilarious. And I don't know if you've seen his response, but he is absolutely crashing out.
I have. I've taken pleasure
in
it.
glorious fashion.
Yeah. Yeah, that video I retweeted. I'm not sure how current the video was. I think it was current. I think it was it had to be right after the Tucker interview because he's talking about Tucker like he's vermin. And it's just like a slow zoom in on Mark Levin, and it's just audio of him talking from his radio show, of course. But it's Mark Levin scowling, holding like a Star of David, like Israel award he was given. The thing I didn't like about Tucker, I always didn't like him, but I had Fuentes on. He has such a funny voice. He really is. He's a talented speaker because I enjoyed hearing Mark Levin yap. He is good to listen to as kind of a laugh. He's got a specific style, and it reminded me a lot of what my dad does, where he goes, "We got all the viewers, we got 100 million views." Blah. And Mark Levin goes, "I have impacted hundreds of millions of people." It's so funny, man. And the intro to his show is even like a ripoff of ours. We have like Deep from the Central Texas Command Center. He's got kind of a guy like talking like that too. It's like Deep from the Mark Levin fucking command room.
Nothing's original anymore.
No,
huh?
but what did you think about the metaphor he used describing Tucker as kind of a fox in the henhouse and then implying he needs to be killed? What do you think of this?
Well, okay. So Josh Hammer came out and said, basically he pulled his Jew card and said, you're just giving me a hard time because I'm a Jew. And it's like, no, we're doing this because first of all, we now have a precedent for political violence.
Right.
Now that Charlie had his neck shot. And so when you say neutralize, he tried posting the definition. Okay, well,
and
fine.
He cut out,
but context drives meaning.
Yeah.
What did he cut out?
He cut out the third definition for neutralize.
Oh, okay.
Kill somebody. he cut that out. And he cropped that out of the screenshot.
Funny.
Yeah. It's honestly crazy to me that, like the Israel crowd who have Israel flags on their lapel pins, they're flying the Israeli flags in their congressional offices and even wearing IDF uniforms to Congress. It's funny how they're the ones who get mad when other people are flying flags of other countries, particularly of Palestine and other areas.
Yeah, they've got a big issue with that.
Right. I mean, I saw criticism of, them going after the Somali guy who's like running for, I don't think he's senator, I think he's like governor. No, it's got to be mayor or something. What is that dude who kind of looks like the guy from Mars Attacks? What is he? He's running for something, and he's like waving the Palestinian flag, and he's speaking, or not Palestinian flag. He's waving the Somalian flag, and he's speaking like in the Somali dialect to the people. Ultimately, you can criticize that. You can say that's wrong. That shouldn't be happening. You should represent America. But you go to Congress. I mean, Randy Fine's office. He's got the American flag, and he's got the Israeli flag, and the Israeli flag is on the right side.
Yep.
So it's all hypocrisy. Yeah. What do you think about this, New Groper?
I think that it's so obvious what's going on in our political system now, and they're freaking out because it came out too early. Because they still needed us to accomplish the rest of their agenda.
Right.
And now that the pressure is all the way up, as I think as high as it could possibly be, all they're doing is they're getting desperate. They're doubling down on the anti-Semitism thing.
Right.
It's the same reason why the Pope came out and spoke against anti-Semitism. It's because he got the call, because it's all hands on deck for his bar right now.
But you know what's interesting? The more you do the coming out and like, don't say bad things about Jewish people, it like actually makes people double down.
It makes people
more.
actually anti-Semitic.
They're like,
because
wait,
you say,
why are you telling me not to do this? Are you getting paid?
Well,
are
like,
you getting
why does this one group get preferential treatment when we've all been taught that preferential treatment is bad? And like this is the thing that comes down to the whole root of like the DEI thing, you know, just in general, like the race and like business and politics and having to have a certain number of people to prove that you're good. Well, ultimately, if the government or the country is set up to really be a meritocracy, why do we need to protect certain groups of people from criticism at the end of the day? Right. Because like no one's coming out and saying, oh, you can't talk about black people.
I was just literally just you're in my mind, man, because I was psychic, man. This is the same, you know, thought process when it comes to black people. And I get in trouble sometime with my own people because I can be critical of my own race and think objectively.
Right.
And it's like when the black people be like, well, I can't be racist. I'm like, the fuck you can't.
That's not how this works.
I was like, dude, you doing the same marginalization where you say, well, you know, only black people can come in this room and no white people because we're doing the same thing.
This is our area.
I'm like, how is that any different than what they're doing? Like the whole reason why Malcolm X didn't work out because of the whole violence instead of just taking the Martin Luther King route.
And then he starts to kind of focus on the government instead of the white people, and then he dies. And like this is what all
he went to the source of where the actual policy is being made and doing the right thing.
I mean, Malcolm X talked to the leader of the American Nazi Party, and
what is that going to do?
Well, I mean, at the end of the day, look, they kill you if you start bringing people together because the system itself is so bad. And what we see with the Jewish individuals, specifically with AIPAC and with the state of Israel in general, is the vast majority of Americans have no tie to that piece of land or to that Jewish history or any of that. The vast majority of Americans aren't Jewish. I believe it's like 8 million or like 10 million Americans, and most of them live in New York.
Yeah, but the problem is it's not a problem, but Jewish people.
The problem. Be careful now.
Jewish people. Yeah, I'm about to get myself neutralized.
You're in very dangerous territory, my friend.
I'm about to get myself neutralized here. Yeah. But the thing is most of the Jewish people are in a lot of they have a lot of money. They're in positions of power, and so they do have a loud microphone when it comes to politics and those types of things.
Right, but it's what you say or what you said earlier about making everything about yourself that's the problem.
Well, and that's my whole point with just being a minority does not give you this like invincibility cloak to just be able to do whatever you want and say whatever you want just because at some point you were marginalized. Like when Jewish people are like, oh, we're being attacked. I'm like, get in line, buddy.
Everyone's being everyone's being attacked.
I was gonna say at a certain point in the history of like not just the United States but the entire world, you have this happening for centuries, if not millennia, where that is part of human nature.
But then they go, look, because we're victims, our attacks are fine because we're striking back against the evil perpetrator.
And it was okay at the very beginning, but it went too far. There's a thing where, you know, it's supposed to be a 1-for-1, not a 1 and then you fucking go 1,000 and basically obliterate the entire thing. That's very
anti-Semitic of you to say.
I'm just saying, you know,
that's very racist, and we don't stand for that here on the gray area. I know New Groper doesn't stand for it. I know we both voted for Kamala together.
Absolutely not. I'll be expecting my $7,000 check now, Netanyahu.
That's right. So,
what else is on your mind?
What else is on your mind?
Yeah, well, I'd say this kind of comment on what you said. If you don't want people to give you a hard time, then like stop doing the behavior that is bringing the ire. Like with the Jewish people as a whole, right? Historically speaking, they've been exiled from 100 countries, you know, over like I think 1,000 times, and it was due to one thing. Yeah, it was due to two main things: usury and and, basically, having issues with the economy and destabilizing that. And it's like, okay, if you want people to stop doing this, instead of just screaming we're anti-Semitic, how about you behave differently in a manner that, because if I was to behave that way, I'd go to prison.
Right.
If we were to do half of the things, just kind of piggybacking off of this, kind of taking the Israel thing further to the Charlie Kirk thing. What's really piqued my interest is the latest report that came out about was it Joe Kent being shut down by Cash Patel.
Yes, and really quick, I'm not sure how much you know about this, Tim. Joe Kent, this guy Fuentes kind of had a little beef with a long time ago. He ran for some congressional or Senate seat. He's now doing an investigation into the Charlie Kirk murder, and he's like special forces or like military background. But go ahead, New Groper.
Yeah, no, I find it really funny because there is the allegation that's been made that Cash Patel's girlfriend has ties to Israeli intelligence.
I don't think it's an allegation. There's an old PragerU screenshot bragging about her being from Unit 8200, the psychological warfare operation.
And it's like Cash got the call and he's shutting it down. And my thing is it circumstantial evidence? Yes, but it is circumstantial evidence and it needs to be investigated. And so when you tell a special investigator, hey, you cannot basically look into any form of foreign involvement in Charlie Kirk's assassination, that sets up a red flag to me.
Yeah, that is a red flag.
And what that tells me is there's smoke, and where there's smoke, there's fire.
Mm-hmm.
And the thing is Israel's condition in the American population. They've been in panic mode for a while with the rise, with the rise of the Groypers and the general America First sentiment has had them nervous. And so if Charlie Kirk really was turning his back on Israel, they definitely have motive and they definitely have ability and opportunity. And so, and then when the government says that we're not going to investigate into this at all, when they have a legal responsibility to, I can't help but put dots together and say, okay, well, maybe Israel did have a part in this.
Right.
As compared to some transgender crazy person.
I mean, there are just so many anomalies. And I believe it was his father-in-law or something. He's like, when I left, I was covered in his blood. And then he left the event before he got shot. Like just so many cases like this. And I mean, you have all this crack security and no one's checking the roofs. It's the same thing we literally see with Trump. And it's just, I don't think I think you're even crazier to believe the true or the authoritative story or what we've been given about Thomas Matthew Crooks, the guy who apparently tried to shoot Trump.
Yeah, we have the text messages though. Like the text messages showed everything. He admitted to it, right? And he said he did it and he hid the gun in the bush and my love, I love you so much.
Now we're gonna get paid, you see. That's how it works. I believe the official story. It is all true. There is no doubting the official story.
It wasn't a boomer who wrote those texts. Of course not.
Well, it was the computer. I mean,
so I have a question for you guys then. Why do you think Israel and then a lot of these, not all of them are Zionists, but just very pro-Israel people, why do you think that whenever there's any narrative that comes out, it's like the immediate response is like something harsh, like you're taking a sledgehammer to the nail instead of just being just counteracting and just giving a debate and arguing back.
It's also just bad strategy too, right? Because if you're doing something and you're drawing attention to yourself, I'm not doing it, I swear, and then you're like Netanyahu tweets out immediately after Kirk dies, we did not do this. And it's just like, what are you talking about?
No one even here's the thing. No one even suspected them at first, but
guilty people telling themselves, man. It's so ridiculous to me because at the end of the day, is the reason why that the Israeli lobby, and I say Israeli because these people are Jewish citizens of Israel, like Josh Hammer, citizen of Israel, to my knowledge. Right, he's married to an Israeli woman. These people, it's worked for so long to use the Holocaust And so, like, all you have to do is just like mention the Holocaust, and then everybody shuts up because they're
that's how I feel about slavery.
Well, that's the thing. It would be like if black people were like reparations, but like for real, and like that's all they ever.
Oh man,
about.
You're really in my mind tonight.
Right.
It's just crazy.
Yeah,
because that is the one thing is like when I hear people talk about slavery as like a scapegoat for like laziness or like
why your life
why my life is bad. And I'm like, dude, you're so far away removed from slavery, and you and I are black, so why am I in the position that I'm in and you're not? I was like, there's no barriers to stopping me from going out there, starting a business, communicating with people, or certain ambitions. So for me to say, hey Rex, you know what your great 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 grandfather did? I need you to pay me for that shit. What?
Right. And then you put on the yarmulke and you go, I am a black Israelite. And
then you get the double reparations.
Then you get the double reparations. See, you got to like
a black Jew.
It's like hitting the multiplier, right? It's like one of these games you play.
I think I need to start wearing a yarmulke, guys.
Dude, I'm telling you, all sorts of business.
It's a hack.
Be incredible. In closing, New Groper, what's a political trend you're focused on this week? What's on your mind?
So I would say I'm keeping a close eye on the response to the interview, for the sole purpose of some of the rhetoric that's coming out of it is incitement to violence. I'm wondering if I already know the answer, but I'm wondering if our Department of Justice will ever do anything that helps anyone and investigate actual crime. Like, guys, like, I don't know about you, I don't care about whether or not NBA players bet money at a card table.
Yeah, you're talking about Chauncey Billups.
But then cash.
Yeah. It's like it's like I would like for the Federal Bureau of Investigation to actually investigate things,
right,
and actually do their job. Or I would like to see a bill put forward to absolve all these entities. Like, if you're not going to do your job, then you ought not.
No, a lot of people want that.
Yeah, but like, what do you replace it with? The thing about the federal government is they only
your state law enforcement.
Well, yeah, but like the thing about the federal government, they only go after somebody when they know they have them dead to rights. They don't like these ambiguous cases.
They don't do anything anyway.
Yeah.
They don't do anything, and anyone they bump up against that's connected to this kind of giant system, they should leave them alone. Like Cash Patel will come out and talk about like Operation Summer Heat. We got blah blah arrested for blah blah. And like, we know about the human trafficking, we know about the stuff that really goes on.
Or like Diddy gets like not even the maximum that he should be.
Right. Getting. I mean, they rigged.
Well, he's about to be pardoned. Yeah, he's about to get a pardon.
Dude, if that happens, I'll be right out there with like the blue-haired people because like it just has gone too far.
Wait till Maxwell gets thrown on that list too.
I mean, she's already. It's already happened with her. She's already in like a cushy place.
She's at summer camp, guys. Yeah. She's at summer camp.
She's making paper mache figurines and stuff.
Yeah.
And such. Oh my God. But yeah, so thank you, New Groper.
With the child safety scissors.
Yeah. Thank you, New Groper.
Always fantastic.
Really
to have
appreciate
you on.
having you on tonight. We got to go to some other calls. Please join us on Sunday if you would.
Yeah. Yeah, man. All right, guys. It's been great. We'll talk to you soon.
Phenomenal, dude.
See you guys.
You're always a blessing. Thank you.
All right. We'll see you.
Let's see who we got.
All right. We're going to talk to Mike Taylor. This will be fun.
All right. Hey, Mike, can you hear us?
Mike, can you hear us? You're live.
Hey, I can hear you guys.
You got good audio, Mike.
What are we talking about today? Yes, we can hear you.
What's on your mind?
Awesome. Yeah, so I just wanted to say I agree with a lot of what Graper said, but real quick, I know this isn't the InfoWars show, but I got to plug that methylene blue, dude. I am not joking. That stuff works for cellular regeneration.
Yep.
I had some warts on my hands, and like they are gone. Literally, I don't know, about
We're
a
hearing
month
this from people.
of usage, maybe. Yeah, no, it's legit. And I don't know if I just got crap glasses from lens crafters or if the methylene blue is helping with my vision, but my glasses suck now, and I'm like, what is going on? So,
dude, we hear about that. We hear about the prescription being decreased, and that's really crazy. And we can't make any health claims, of course, but anecdotally, like dozens, if not hundreds of people have called in about that.
Well, yeah, and I'm like, if it's approved by FDA for a hemoglobin disease that affects oxygen carrying in the red blood cells, I'm like, how can it not help people who aren't affected with that disease?
What is
but at any rate,
what is it though? Methylene blue.
All right, we'll go over.
I'm not trying to plug this. I'm genuinely
it's
curious.
fine. 10 minutes on methylene blue. We love it, and we'll get into your questions. But this is a great one. So methylene blue is a small molecule. You've got 3 nitrogens. You've got a sulfur group, and then you've got a chlorine group. The chlorine group is what gives it its blue color, its blue dye, its medical dye properties, its industrial dye properties. The sulfur group donates an electron to your mitochondrial process, so it speeds you up from stage 1, which is where you make the superoxide, into stage 4 or stage 3, I believe, which is oxidative phosphorylation. You can look at the Krebs cycle. Basically, it eliminates the most damaging part of cellular metabolism to make energy, to make ATP, in that it enhances the cleanup phase. So you make more energy, you don't produce the free radical, and then you get a heightened, enhanced cleanup phase.
Is it a stimulant of some sort, or is it
it allows the cell to function even if the cell is in kind of like a senescent or broken state? And a lot of times a senescent cell, what needs to happen is it needs to commit apoptosis. It needs to die. And a lot of times they don't die, and that's where a lot of these problems come with aging. And it's been shown to have some aid and faculty in that. So that's where the stimulant effect really just comes from you having your body work properly.
Okay.
So like mitochondrial health issues. But go ahead, caller. What was your question?
No, totally. I definitely sense the enhancement in energy and cognitive thought. So, but my it wasn't really so much a question as a comment that I feel that the current situation is promoting World War III. Not only are we, they're promoting the religious aspect, the racial aspect, and this is going to, go across a worldwide plateau. It's not just located here in our country, and we know the WEF said they're going to make an angrier world, and I feel like this whole Jewish aspect, like they are totally embracing the role of becoming the bad guy right now. They are like Cobra from G.I. Joe. They want that designation so that the world will target them and hate them. And I don't know how we counter this on a global level, but I think if we're all equipped with our rights and we're all equipped with the Constitution, and we really start pushing the Constitution as a small form, like I'm talking traffic tickets, I'm talking anything that you feel is a violation of your constitutional rights, we should be trying to take it to court, even if you don't hire a lawyer. Do it pro se. As long as you're making a point to the court system, it literally only is going to take 10% of tickets to make their system collapse. Because if people are requesting jury trials and things like that, which I've shared this on my X, gonna get you, but people could collapse the system. It's all a system of making money. We're in a commerce system right now. We're not in a constitutional system. And we really got to get back to that to save our country. If we don't, if we're worried, about this whole global end of things, I feel like we're going to fail here, because we're going to go into civil war, and one of the superpowers, whether it's China, Russia, or whoever, is going to come in and just clean up the mess. And then we're right back to where we were under Palantir and the AI surveillance and everything else.
Right. I 100% agree with that. When you talk about we've switched from a constitutional government into a commerce government, I think you really touched on something there, because that's what it's all about. It's about the trade and the deals and the money and all this magical money, these huge, like almost impossible, definitely impossible figures they throw out. Like Trump goes to, I believe it was UAE or Qatar, one of those places, and they promise him like 10 trillion over 10 years.
Yeah.
Like there's no way that's ever going to happen, but that's what's taken home as a win to the American people, instead of healthcare, instead of, homelessness being ended, instead of, civil rights being actually enforced and taken care of. Sorry, that's my dog, if you hear that. Instead of these things, we get promised. I got dogs too. Yeah, they're awesome, man. They're better than people. We get promised this bill of goods where nothing ever happens for us, the citizenry, but hey, the stock market's gone up. Life has objectively gotten way worse, but the stock market's gone up.
Yeah, because they're
What's your
like,
point, Tim?
the whole point of the stock market is they just have to cater to the investors. And as long as the investors are happy, then it doesn't really matter about the rest of the base of people that are buying the products to support that. But ultimately, when you say they, I'm assuming you're talking about like the federal government as a whole, or are you just referring to like the war hawks who just you can clearly tell, or like the establishment?
They're all that. Yeah.
No, I totally mean the government as a whole. I don't feel that we can trust any elected official to save us, whether it be local judges, even a dog warden. You know, there are some good sheriffs, I'll give you that, but we have to educate. And that's what I'm saying. Like, it's taken 70 years to get us to this point that we're at.
Right.
And we're not going to fix it overnight unless Trump really goes hard. I'm talking like hard, like Bukele and El Salvador hard.
Just to clarify,
and
that,
then, you know, starts a war and then uses the War Powers Act to stay in power for another 4 years or something crazy like that. Because
Netanyahu's doing.
I don't even think he can fix it in 3 years, even if he goes hard. I mean,
no,
we are so far in the hole that it is up to us to educate the future, you know, the future generations as to their rights, what the Constitution is. I never learned the Constitution in school, or the fact that I had rights. You know, that was on the founding fathers.
No, you get here's what you get in school. You get America bad. Like the world's got to be more fair, and you got to make it more fair. America bad. You don't learn about the governmental system of America, how it's actually supposed to work, and it really is a beautiful, almost magical system. The way they were able to design it to almost not work in a way, so that change had to be slow and incremental. But even with that failsafe, we've now reached a point of terminal mass where, like, where do you think we're going to be at war at next? Where do you predict? Do you think it's going to be Venezuela? Do you think it's going to be Iran? Do you think it's going to be Ukraine fully? Do you think it'll be a reignition of the Israeli conflict? What do you predict?
I think it's going to be over the course of the next 1 to 2 years. We will be at war with not only Venezuela, but possibly Russia to some extent. China's going to escalate things.
That's right.
I feel like, you know, they're trying to bring in this whole new world order and a new global alliance, and we want to win. You know, our government, as far as we, wants to win, not the people necessarily. You know, we want nationality, but I feel like these governments are competing for the world power right now, and, you know, with BRICS and all these things being established. And the sad thing is, a lot of BRIC system is all based on digital currency and things like that. So even if we lose and buy into their system, we're still in the system that we've been trying to fight forever.
Right.
And if we lose, if we win, you know, Trump's plan seems to be to implement a new digital system. You know, he's already, the laws have passed.
He loves it.
The
boomers love computers.
Tyranny.
They don't understand. They absolutely love it. Like they're in love with screens. They all get like smart houses with like iPads in the walls. Like, this is the soul of the boomer. And I know he's not a boomer, but still.
And you made a really good point about BRICS here, about it not really being a digital currency. It's not backed by gold. It's the same fiat currency, if you would think about it. And it's like, what's to stop them from doing the exact same process where, yeah, maybe you've got it a little bit more democratized among multiple countries, but ultimately, if it's a conglomerate, they're still going to probably push things in the direction that helps themselves to a certain extent. But it's the definition of insanity, right? You know, you do the same thing
shit over and
over again,
expecting different results.
Exactly. So, you know, there's no way. We've proven, if you don't have something back, something tangible that people can go and exchange this item for, it doesn't work. And the thing about this whole, we've been the world power for only like the last 70, 80 years. By the way, Rome was the empire for 500 years. Britain was like 200. Spanish were, I think, for another 300 or 200 years. We're already reaching a point at which they were by like year 200 and year like 500. Like it's kind of crazy how much we've accelerated the process because of the globalism and what we did by printing and coming off the dollar standard way the gold standard
We
way
print
quickly.
as much as we want, however we want it, for whatever we need.
5 trillion.
Yeah.
COVID.
Right.
It's the money's not even real. And like when you realize the money isn't even real, and that it's a giant game of the emperor has no clothes, and we just all pretend that it works and it's fine. Eventually we will become like Zimbabwe, where it costs $100 to get a cheeseburger. That'll be our version of it, but the dollar will become like a peso, and then everyone will wake up in 10 years, be like, oh, well, that really was crazy. Now I can never own a home, and even if I save my entire life, and if my kids save their entire lives, they can never buy a home. But it's okay because you live on like the Black Rock plantation. You live in a rented 250 square foot apartment, and that's what's good for you. Eat the lab grown meat with
Be a good boy.
Literally, like that's what they want for everybody. And like they've said, like, hey, we should just put lithium in the water, make everyone docile. Like, why not? Like, we could do it. Like, but this is a small group of people that unilaterally make decisions for all of us. And it's like you say, getting back to the Constitution, that's not how the government's supposed to work. The bureaucrats aren't supposed to be a fourth, fifth, and sixth branch of government. That's not how the system is designed to function. So in closing, what's your big point for the audience today? How do we fix this? What's the real strategy with using the Constitution?
Get educated on your civil rights. Like, for instance, the gentleman, I was watching the War Room earlier with Harrison, and
great show.
He had a video. Yeah, I love Harrison. He had a video about a gentleman who was approached by state and federal officers in Texas because he posted something that was anti-Israel. He said, we got to get rid of the Jews. Which I think by that he meant we got to get rid of the Jewish influence.
Well, you can't say that.
He phrased it kind of crazy. But regardless, the officers approach his home and he asks them straight up, "Do you have a warrant?" And they say no. And he says, "Well, then did you read my sign that says no trespassing, no soliciting?" They said, "Well, no." And he said, "Well, you're basically soliciting right now. If you don't have a warrant, you need to leave my property." And they left. And that's, he could have easily dug himself a hole so deep that he would be in jail currently and probably for the next year. But he knew his constitutional rights. He knew the fact that they had no right on his property without a probable search and seizure, warrant. And that's what I say. The people today, if any influencer can push anything, please push the fact that we need to get educated in our constitutional rights. Look at Carl Miller. There's a gentleman on the disclosurehub.com, on Telegram, Disclosure Hub. He's a very good civil rights person. He actually has an AI model that will that will plan out a legal strategy for you, cite case law. I mean, it's amazing. So
we need to get more of those types of guests
people
on the
out there
show.
trying to push it.
Yeah, we do. And that's the whole point of the gray area, guys. What you're talking about, the education, it's like a reason why Rex and I took the standpoint, hey, you know what, we need to have like an educational or history segment in this and not just be a talk show that just yaps for 3 hours. Like there needs to be something in here,
something about
that value of where you guys can be like, okay, by the end of that episode, did I learn something new? Am I educated to inform myself? That way I can make better decisions, because it's all found in history. It's all found in the little gray areas of the fine print, which most people aren't really reading, And so that's the thing. Like we're spending the time to go do these deep dives. But yeah, you're right, because we can never research enough. We definitely need these guests on.
100%. Well, thank you, caller. Really appreciate you. Mike Taylor, right?
Yes, sir. Appreciate you guys. Gonna get you on X.
All right.
Badass, dude. Appreciate you.
Take care.
All right, buddy.
Have a great night, man.
Take care, man.
All right. We've got Andrew.
Sorry if I dropped the calls a little too early or anything. This is just me running controls, so it's a bit hard. All right, let's talk to Andrew now.
One more.
Talk.
Hey,
Andrew, you're on the air.
How's it going, guys?
It's going phenomenal. Thanks for waiting. Thanks for joining us tonight. What's on your mind?
Right now, I'm just thinking about local elections a little bit. Thinking about Mamdani a little bit since I live close to the
Where are
city,
you at?
Then I'm in Connecticut.
Ah,
where
fellow
Tim is
Connecticut
from.
guy. What part,
Yeah.
man?
Kind of south.
Well, I'm
closer
born
into-
and raised in Connecticut. What's
border.
the name of the town?
You know Wilton? I'm right next to Westport.
Yeah, very nice area.
Nice. Where are you from?
I'm from New Haven, Hamden. I got family still out in
Nice.
East Haven, so
the capital.
I'm a Connecticut guy, true and true. So born and raised there. Good to see. So
yeah,
you're
awesome.
a little closer to that New York stuff. So what's your opinion on it?
Yeah. It's just sad. I mean, a lot of my friends are liberals, and they just like they're not even like stupid, but they just fall hook, line, and sinker for like it's kind of the Obama effect. Like if you have charisma, then people will just eat up anything you say. It's
Yeah.
very interesting.
You do
phenomenon.
the smile where your eyes are closed and your teeth are showing. That's the Zoran Mamdani look. It's like
he's taken after Mr. Beast a little bit.
Yes, yeah, very true.
That
Very
eye
true.
smile. Yeah.
So what bothers
It's
you the
just
most about it?
interesting 'cause well, it's just like it's kind of indicative of like these people are so if people are very at this degree receptive to this really obvious op and like just like I don't know, just can't see through this stuff very easily. It's very concerning.
Right.
It's just such an obvious installed plant, and yeah, it's no good. It's the type of stuff he's saying is so crazy that it's just like absurd, but like no one's taking the time to like dissect anything he's really saying. But
what about
that's the gist of
what
it.
about what he's proposing? What do you take the biggest issue with? Of course, we've seen, and we did a show on this. We talked about it recently. We talked about the rent freezes
Right.
and how that works. We've also heard
Yes.
him talk about like like a violent crime, like that shouldn't be a thing. Like we don't like send a social worker basically to everything, and like free public transport.
The talking about oh well, prison doesn't really address the traumas that the convicted criminals faced and all this stuff, like as if this is like, you know, it's like as if it's daycare, as if running this dangerous city is daycare. It's just so crazy that it's just like proposing, what the prisons doesn't really matter. We don't need to worry about that. Like it's just like insane to me.
You see, Andrew, the violent homicidal maniac that we arrested with a knife after he tried to get someone, he needs an ayahuasca retreat and he needs mushroom therapy.
A little massage.
Yeah.
He needs to find himself.
Exactly.
It's hard to find yourself after setting a random woman on fire in the subway.
Right.
You have to really like rediscover yourself.
Yeah.
No, yeah, and
he's
also
right.
for the local elections just here in Connecticut. Oh, sorry, I cut you off.
No, keep going. What about Connecticut? I don't know what's going on there.
It's interesting. They kind of, I mean, it's a rich area. There's certain types of folks who live in rich areas, and it's a lot of catering to those people, and a lot of it's very interesting. Like the conservatives, any flavor of conservatism in Connecticut is like very cucked. Like it's very much kind of dwindled, and we're definitely losing the culture war, so to speak.
Well,
like
it's a tiny hat
neutered.
kind of conservatism, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's very kosher, one could say.
Yeah.
Just to clarify, you're talking about like, so people who don't know, like Westport, like Greenwich, you know, these are like old money. Like you're talking, you know, McMansions. A lot of these people from like New York City, these rich people, they don't always like being in the city, so they prop up shop like right in these areas because they're like only, you know, 45 minutes to an hour drive to New York City, and you can get away from all the chaos. But it's like, you know, very posh, like very rich areas.
Yeah.
So yeah, I know what you're talking about.
These are the towns that are the extended suburbs of New York City.
Yes.
And by extension, they're the towns where you're having the monthly free the hostages rallies and those types of things. So that's kind of like a little indicative of the flavor of the area. But
do they have any anti-Semitism laws that they've passed over there Anything?
Not that I know of. You know, I wouldn't be surprised that it's interesting. You can check the town Facebooks. They have like Facebook groups for the towns and stuff, and it's a lot of, and they just like the boomers posting slop on the Facebooks about it. You know, how they're really scared about Hamas coming to Connecticut or whatever.
Oh my, that's the last place that they would go.
Dude, that's a great way. You scare the boomer, like the rich boomer that has like $1 million in the bank and lives in a big house.
Well, and that's how Connecticut, I name as, you know, this is how I paint Connecticut. There's nothing significant going on in Connecticut. Sorry to break the bubble, Andrew, but it's like, it's one of those places you go to like settle down. Like we don't have any, you know, sports teams besides like the Connecticut Sun. We don't have like massive. It's the WNBA, so you wouldn't.
Oh,
you wouldn't really hear about it in the first place. They're
the greatest athletes on the planet.
That's our team. And if you really want to go have like city life, the closest thing you can do is go to like New Haven, maybe Hartford if you want to get shot. But it's a small town living is what Connecticut is like. So it's a lot of older people, older generation, old money. That's what Connecticut I would classify it as.
Yeah, it's very interesting, even because I go to like a Protestant church, and the people are very nice, but like it's still like a little tainted by the kosher conservative element. Like it's a little neutered, it's a little you know,
do they make you praise Israel? Some churches do this. There's a pastor here in Texas that baptizes people in a bathtub with the Israeli flag over it.
Mm-hmm.
So like there are a lot of these like,
luckily they don't go that crazy.
Okay,
yeah,
good.
No, it's a very very liberal church, and they're definitely not down with Israel.
Were you living there during COVID?
I was, yeah.
What was that like? Were you living there during COVID?
I was in New York, but
okay.
Connecticut, I was still going back home. It was all the same stuff.
The fear mongering, all that. How intense was that?
It was the perfect storm of the COVID, and then like the riots, the Summer of Love. There was a lot of stuff going on that kind of sent people into a tizzy, like a mental spiral, and it's very interesting. I don't know what it is about like just like really rich, affluent areas that are like so liberal. Like they're like, I think it is what you were just talking about. Like everything in school is like America's so evil, messed up, and every
they're teaching that stuff now.
Just guess who it was? It was a white man.
Right. It's all the white man's fault.
They're teaching that shit now. Like when I was in school, we weren't like necessarily critical of the white man as much, except for like maybe if you're talking about civil rights movement, but it was like more so they were painting America like the heroes and the allied powers during the World War II. And
you look at what they do. Yeah.
They weren't talking about the rape that was happening in like in China, or like the 3 million people that were killed in the Bengal famine. You know, that's the history class. But they were teaching you guys like white people, anti-America.
It was a lot of look at how horrible maybe a whole quarter on the Holocaust / World War II type of stuff. I literally when I was in high school, I made my final presentation for history class. It was like the thesis was like Hitler was evil, and like I don't know why they let me like do that as like a project, but I just did that. I got like an A+. It was like the easiest thing I've ever done. So it's just so funny. Like it's kind of just like that's when I kind of realized like it's not really learning. You're just like reciting a bunch of like.
It's the litany of truth. And it's the truth because we say it's the truth. That's that you pledge allegiance to the narrative.
Right.
Like that's what it is. Yeah.
Also, to whoever writes the book, right?
Yes.
Like we all were, you guys were taught out of history books, right? And the teacher just follows whatever's in the book. So I don't know if we ever like really dive into like the publishers of the books that are going into the schools, but like I'm sure we could come out with a new revision that kind of gives like the clear gray areas of what's going on in history.
So how old are you, Andrew?
I'm 24.
Okay. Yeah. So I mean, like, we're all similar ages here. Like, I'm 23, you're
27.
27. You're kind of in the middle there, closer to me. Here's the thing.
Yeah.
Like, you had just graduated when COVID happened, right?
Oh, that must have been awful.
I graduated before, luckily.
Right.
Oh, okay.
So
Right.
Yeah. So I missed it happened when I was like just started college.
You're a senior in 2019 in high school.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, that makes sense.
Exactly.
Did you go to college like freshman year with COVID?
I did. I took a year off once COVID hit because they were charging the exact same, tuition price. So
Yeah,
I
it was a
figured was
scam.
not worth it anyway.
Giant fraud.
Yeah.
Yeah,
that
was a big thing.
Opted out of that.
At my school, somebody
What was
reached
that?
out. Somebody at my school reached out because I was in school during COVID. I think I was on my second or third year, but they had done the exact same thing. They sent everybody home, but was charging the same. And like a bunch of people came out with like a class action lawsuit that they were trying to add me to, where they're like, people are going after the colleges for charging them the same as tuition. So I mean, I'm not, giving any recommendations, but like for other people who, had to pay a shit ton of like tuitions, some people might be entitled to getting like some money back, but I don't know.
Isn't it grotesque how rich these schools are? How much money they have? Like,
$1 billion
we need more money.
endowments.
We need more money. We need more money. And it's like you get help from the government, you get help from the state, you get help from everybody. Yeah.
Anything
Yeah, it
else
was
on your
really
mind?
gross how they. Well, just add on to the university thing, like that was one major thing with like COVID was I opted out of the vaccination requirement, and like I can't tell you how many emails they sent, basically just like, this is a mistake, right? What you're doing is wrong, right? Like just shit like that.
You're the bad guy.
And then and you could argue it's even just like stealing people's money when the universities, a lot of them, well, I went to school in Boston, but a lot of
What
different
college?
schools, like they invited everyone to come back to the campus during like peak COVID.
Yes.
And we're like, but don't go to each other's rooms. Don't actually hang out, even though we invited everyone back.
Yeah.
And then would like expel people like
For
right
having
when they
more
got
than two
there for like
people.
hanging out and shit like that. Just like insanely crazy. And then they would spin it in their like newspaper about like, you see, this just proves our point that you really aren't listening to the science and shit. Like, just
what college did you go
to? I went to Northeastern.
Oh, that explains. Okay, yeah, I had friends that went there. I went to high school in Boston area, so a lot of my friends went to Northeastern, and that's how I described it too. That is insane. Yeah,
Nice.
I mean, my college, I got forced to take the vaccine, man. I should have done what you did and took the gap year, but I was in the middle of my degree. Like it wasn't smart for me to do that as an engineer. I wish they didn't make me take the vaccine. I wish they didn't make me take the booster, but I didn't have a choice.
That's tough.
I got double vax, so I'm not far behind.
Oh, you did?
Once it got to the booster, I was like, all right, I'm not fucking doing this.
Any side effects that you had?
I honestly couldn't tell you. I have no idea. Like, I'm relatively healthy, so
very lucky.
I don't know.
You're very lucky. Crazy. Yeah. Well,
yeah.
Lucky my heart didn't explode.
Dude, I mean, it's just it triples and quadruples a bunch of different risks, like for heart failure, arrhythmias, all sorts of stuff, and then it destroys your immune system. But there are different batches of the shot, there are different doses of the shot, and like I hope you keep feeling okay. And we really appreciate having you on here tonight. Very interesting to touch on Connecticut, which is Tim's home.
Yeah, so, I'm going there next month, so we'll see how it looks out there. I haven't been there for a couple of years, so
nice.
Hell yeah!
All right, well, thank you, Andrew. We appreciate your call tonight.
Your call, man. Thank you so much.
Or no problem. Have a good night, guys.
You too.
Well, great, man. I mean, I think we touched on a lot of topics tonight. We talked to people about some interesting things. it seems to me that people are very dissatisfied in the government. I don't know if this is
the ongoing trend, man.
This is the ongoing trend.
My own family's talking about this, and they're not even in the political space. They
Right.
don't watch, our show. They don't watch Alex Jones. They don't watch a lot of these other commentaries. It's just a consensus that we are reaching collectively as a society.
Yeah, people are done with the system that doesn't work for them, and especially because it lies and says it does. Like, this is the thing. Ultimately, you're going to make people mad at you if you behave in this way. And, you could say it's by design. You could say it's all accelerationism. I agree with that to a certain extent. But, things are happening relatively fast. I think, I believe it may have been the caller after New Groiper that predicted war in under 2 years. I predicted this year. I may be wrong about that, but I think we're gearing up for something big. And I think the public recognizes that. And I think the public looks at the global situation, looks at life at home getting worse. And, maybe we'll actually have some real change here over the next decade. I'm hopeful for it. I know you are.
Yeah, I think right now, there has to be a certain like crazy scenario that happens. Like, I think Americans are still just enough like being kept just enough satisfied to where there's like no like real rebellion. Like the Kings,
We'll see.
no King's protest doesn't do anything.
Yeah, but the EBT was still on.
Yeah, but they're gonna fix that before it really gets bad.
I don't know about that.
I think the system changes if like we have like some economic collapse or something, and like a bunch of people lose their money, and the whole system is really broke. Because you saw even during 2008 when we had like the entire collapse, they just print more money and they bail everybody out, and they make you feel like, oh, everything's okay. We've got everything under control.
It's all under control. Yeah.
So I think the moment that comes where is like when they can't keep pressing that button to just the fix all button of just printing money is probably when we see the real like order change here in the United States. But I'm just praying that this new generation like us, we come in there with a little more common sense. I'm hoping that the system doesn't eat the people that are new going in there fresh and just end up spitting out the same outcome, because that's a real thing. Is the
seems to be very common, though.
AOC's already drinking the freaking Kool-Aid, and I know
she's
she
old
went
enough to be president. So like,
yeah,
and this is where we're at now. So welcome to the new world.
Welcome to the new world,
and welcome to the gray area. If this is your first time watching us, highly recommend following Tim on X at Truism Tim. It's also linked in my profile. Listen, we got to get into 500. Okay. And then we got to get to 1,000 and beyond. But I know there's enough people in here watching live. I know a lot of you have heard me say this before. Like, I followed Tim.
I only need
whatever.
25 more people.
Right.
I'm thinking of like, if I get to that 500 tonight, we're going to be doing something special, maybe giveaway. We'll see what happens with that. But I really want to. Yeah, go ahead.
It helps us get guests, and this is what's important, is because I'm DMing people, Tim is DMing people, but we need to have the full outreach there. We need to show these phenomenal guests that we want to have on these phenomenal Sunday shows. We need to say, hey, this is a cool new place for you to come, and these are the two hosts, and some of them know me, some of them don't. But Tim is the new kid on the block.
I'm the very new kid on the block. I have no cred.
He's new. We need to get him more followers so that we can do these gray area shows and we can have these.
And the way that you can help is like, guys, if you're already following, go and repost or something like that, or
just
go
help out the show.
Yeah.
I mean, Tim primarily posts stuff from the gray area shows, phenomenal clips from the lives and whatnot, great clips from the lives. You want to go there and just engage with us and give us questions, give us feedback, watch a clip, say, hey, I wish you'd cover this. Hey, I think you could do this better. We want any and all criticism, any and all emotion, any and all, constructive behavior from you guys, because it really helps us do the show.
It does.
And I just want to say, phenomenal show tonight. Thank you for being here on the gray area.
Cut to Rupert.
Oh, look at that little surprise treat.
He's getting a little restless.
Yeah, he's getting a little antsy, but look at the dog. All right. I want you to look at this dog. This dog is black and tan. The tan's kind of an orange mahogany, very beautiful colors on this dog. This dog has a giant tongue. The tongue is like 14 to 18 inches long. The dog has giant floppy ears. The dog has furniture feet. It's like the feet you see on nice furniture. That's what his paws look like.
It's a little rabbit.
This dog, I don't feed this dog unless the show does better, unless you follow Truism Tim. If you don't follow Truism Tim,
killing puppies.
I won't give him dinner. So I'm just like Hassan Piker. I'm only worse. All right. And you don't see it, but the entire mat is actually a shock mat. You know, so he doesn't need to wear a shot collar. I just zap him if he's on.
For every person that watches
Yeah.
that doesn't subscribe, he's getting shocked in real
Right.
time.
We don't want that. You
This
know,
is awful.
it's just like, you know, the Israelis, they bomb the Palestinians and they kill a whole bunch of them, but they didn't want to do that. They were just trying to help at the end of the day. So why don't you try to help and support Rupert by all right, this is really messed up. We're having fun here. It's all a joke. It's a great time. We're gonna go for a
Someone's
W
gonna
word.
click that.
Yeah, someone's gonna clip that and go to the new Hassan Piker. And look, here's the thing. I don't have hair. I love my dog. He has hair. He hates his dog. It's a very interesting dynamic you can see there. Ultimately, just follow Gray Area Talks on X, follow Trism Tim on X, and go check out the show on YouTube and Rumble. And whatever your favorite platform is, give us a subscription. You know, Tim, you're talking about YouTube with me, and you're like, our YouTube's doing pretty good. And I was like, yeah, that's great. I want Rumble to do good. I love Rumble. So if you're on Rumble, if you use Rumble, go follow us or give us a subscription, whatever.
They're kind of like neck and neck, but YouTube is definitely winning right now. But we decided to give you guys both options because I know some people are more YouTube guys, some people are more Rumble. But we wanted to allow you guys to tune in on whatever platform that you guys prefer. But if you do both, might as well subscribe to both. It really doesn't hurt.
Just do it. Like I know it's a time cost. I know you got to go through the various apps or browsers. I know you got to do the thing there, and that and we appreciate that. We really do, because we're going to be here in a year, in 2 years. We're going to be doing even better shows with even better guests. I mean, people say the shows are good, even like especially the guest segments are good, and especially prepared segments that you do. It's going to get even better. Imagine when we have someone switching for us, running keyboard and mouse so that we don't have to anymore.
Right. And we'll get better graphics too.
Pull things up. Like, it's all approaching. It's rapidly there. Thank you for joining us tonight on The Gray Area. Tim Tompkins, Rex Jones, signing off for tonight. God bless, Godspeed, and good luck to you all out there on the